So now we're going to kick into gears and start our next session. Our next session will be on NFTs, non-fungible tokens, for those who do not know. So I'm going to invite one of our co-organizers, Waziri, back up to the stage to introduce and start the next panel. Waziri, can you please come up, sir?
Hello, everybody. It is my honor to introduce these three gentlemen here and particularly talk about this topic because it's something new. And you know, I remember when the iPad came out and when the internet came out, people were like, what is that thing? The iPad is it's a paperweight and so on and so forth. And now we all see how those things have emerged. So the topic today is one many people have questions about NFTs. And I'm going to start by introducing Chaka Mahone. Come on up. Chaka Mahone, Chuma Chike Obi, and Chris Tobar. Yeah, y'all go ahead, grab a mic. And artist Chris Tobar. And I will kind of give you guys, I'd love for you guys to give a brief introduction of yourselves. I don't want to butcher your bios. And then we could get into talking about the NFT kind of issue a bit. And I would love to, you know, pick your brains about it. So please.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Chaka. I'm one half of a hip hop duo here in Austin, Texas called Riders Against the Storm. We just got done playing ACL, so you might have seen us there on stage. I'm also a founder and designer at a clothing line called Never Fresher. And I'm a founder of a fund here in Austin called Dawa. And I believe in the crossroads between art and community wellness and community development.
Awesome. How you doing today? My name is Chuma Chike Obi. And a couple of things. I'm a surgeon in town, and the reason I'm here today is because I'm also a digital art, you can say enthusiast and educator. So I founded a company, GMI Advisory, and the focus is to educate classically artists, but really anyone who is interested in learning about this new technology that I think is very, very profound and will impact a lot of us in the way we conduct our activities. And so excited to be here, and I look forward to learning from my co-panelists and talking about NFTs, a big passion of mine.
Awesome. Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Chris Tobar. Actually, Chris Tobar Rodriguez, legally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm an illustrator, artist, designer. I want to say creative experience director. And then I also am I'm the creative director over at Of Color, that creates events on bringing artists of color experiences here in Austin. And then, what else am I? Yeah, I'm a human. What's up?
What's up? There you go. So I'm going to just go ahead and get it started. It's funny, on my way here the other day, I saw a sign right on Congress and Old Torf, and it says, "This is an NFT." Big old billboard, and I was like, huh? I was like, so billboard's an NFT? Like, so we'll just get into it, right? Non-fungible token. Would love you guys to all give your view. I mean, we know what the definition is, but what is an NFT to you?
Yeah, so a bit more background. So kind of being somewhat of a nerd, I kind of discovered this space. Back in 2017, I started looking at digital collectibles, and I have learned a little bit about it. Basically, an NFT is it's a non-fungible token, and all that means is that it's basically now possible to have.
Your mic up a little bit.
Is that better? Oh,
yeah.
Good. No, that's much better. So a non-fungible token is basically a way to have whatever you want in digital form, in a way that's almost impossible to fake or change the ownership of, because it's tied to blockchain technology, and blockchain technology is the way that allows that to happen. So if you're an artist and you create a piece and you launch it as an NFT, anyone can look to see that you made it, the time you made it, and it's basically impossible for anyone to ever change that or to copy it without having that record. It's almost like a signature, essentially. If you sign a piece of work, that can't be faked. So that's what makes it so powerful, because it wasn't impossible to do this before, now, in a way that anyone could easily verify it and check it. So it's a huge deal for a lot of industries. But the first thing we're seeing now is a lot of creatives understand the value it brings to their business and their art, because they can launch this stuff and have anyone in the world get access to it fairly easily.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, I see it as, you know, if you're a digital artist in the past, you were pretty much like a graphic designer or something like that, and you got paid to create something for somebody else. Or, you know, people might come across your work online, you might sell it as a print or something like that. But through the digital technology, you know, you have an opportunity to have that unique ownership, and then after it's sold, you can also still receive royalties and things after it's sold. So if I sold, say I do the Mona Lisa, you know, and I sell it for $2 million, that person that owns it now sells it for $6 million. I don't get anything after that. There's no thing coming back to me, and through the blockchain and everything, that opportunity opens up. You know, a lot of people, I think they see, they're like, oh, it's just a JPEG, it's just a digital image. But in the past, you couldn't, there's no real way to monetize that. And so this is a way to monetize your work and in turn also receive royalties. So I think that's something unique as a creator of digital art. I do physical art as well, but as a creator of digital art, it creates opportunities. So it's something that's a new opportunity.
Yeah, I don't think we can say anything else about that. I have nothing else to say. I think you guys really covered the bases. Not playing. I really think that I think that's a really great point, is that we're as creators, not just digital artists, not just illustrators, but even music now, moving in that way, even creating video content, like even creating this experience. Like this experience could be an NFT that goes into your stamp. It's almost like a passport that like now we can track to see like, oh, did you really show up? It's like, it's confirmation, which is gonna be really cool to like create experiences moving forward, and just like being able to share what you did. Because as a digital artist like myself, you know how many illustrations I've done that like I scrap because like, oh, I don't think this is gonna work in print market. I don't think this is gonna work in the landscape of a art show or anything. So like now this space actually gives me a point to like create these like illustrations that have movement, and now I can add more value and also create uniqueness, which is also kind of cool. Like you can make a bunch of them. You can make 1,000 of them if you want to, and then have, you know, each one could have its own uniqueness and have its own like digital tag that's attached to it, which is gonna make it, you know, really cool for people that like, oh, I bought a print. If you bought a print from Picasso or Banksy and someone printed all those, like there's no like telling if those are a real screen print or that's a silk print, what kind of printing that was, because that's what increases value for the print itself, is depending on the type of ink, the type of things. Like it really ups the level. Doesn't mean that the art's not valuable, it just means that the art now will be even more valuable because you know that stuff going into it versus like just kind of just showing up to it.
Yeah, I think that's just right, and I love that we're here with, you know, with two artists. I'm you know, in this space I'm more of an educator and a collector, but when you look at what's going on in NFTs, there's a lot of interest from really big entities, a lot of capital being poured into this space as we speak by the billions. And so to me, it took a long time to kind of understand what was going on, and I'm still kind of working on that, but it looks a lot like the internet. The way that kind of, and I was fairly young when that happened, but I was old enough to watch that happen a little bit. When the internet launched, the companies and the people who understood it earlier were better positioned to leverage it in some way to make their lives better. And so with what's going on now, people who, and artists, and even collectors who are looking and saying, okay, I wanna, you know, I found, you know, like Chaka's music, I wanna, you know, own some of that and collect some of that and support the artist. Like those who understand early enough, like what's going on, can look at it and say, okay, you know what, maybe I want to make my own art in this way and use this technology to make it extend my reach in some way or change the kind of art I'm doing in some way. I think it's totally up to the individual. But I think the new wave of technology is important enough that we're doing this and talking about it and sharing ideas.
That's excellent. So thank you. I mean, so many different perspectives. So Chuma, you mentioned this authenticity, right? Mm-hmm. There's a signature. Chaka, you also brought up a really valid point about being able to take, I like to call it the Master P effect, right? I don't need this label anymore, I'm gonna go sell it to Trump, right? And of course that brings back a very interesting point was like the contractual obligation. So this happens, I wanna coming back to me. It almost feels like it's giving artists today something that Prince wanted, right? Or something that those folks want. I want my name back, I want control over it. Where does it go? Where do you see this kind of power enabling you as artists? Mm-hmm. And then the question for you is the experience, right? He's creating, how are you experiencing it in a way that brings the artists and the collectors, I'd say, together?
I mean, I don't think I can speak too much on where it's going, but I think following what Chuma was saying, you know, this kind of sky's the limit. We're at the beginning of it. You know, when the internet first started, you know how long it took to like download an image, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And now, you know, we're watching videos on our phone and like there's pretty much the internet never goes off. You remember when TV used to go off? I was old enough today, it would be like, boo! They play the Pledge of Allegiance, or not the Pledge of Allegiance, but the Star Spangled Banner or whatever, the flag would come on and that was it, you know what I'm saying? You gotta wait till 7 to get TV again, you know what I'm saying? The internet used to be like that. So, you know, the way I see NFTs is like that. Like we're at the beginning, we don't know. But I think I was telling Kyra and Mia earlier, or talking, we were having conversations, like if you got a little bit of money to play with and you like art, you know what I'm saying, you're not gonna miss it, then, you know, invest in it because you really don't know where it's going right now. And I think, you know, people say it's speculative, it is, but also it's an opportunity to be a part of something now that's clearly going to grow. He said there's billions of dollars being invested in it. You know, why not jump in the game, find something you're interested in, and check it out. Like for me personally, I'm still in the exploration phase in terms of NFTs because I know there's a lot of money in it and everything like that. Money doesn't really excite me in life. It's really about the experience, and it's really about community for me, and what is the actual impact that this is going to have in the world that I want to see. And so like everything that I do as an artist is really an intention based, and it's not inspired by money. So like I'm really interested in seeing where those things overlap, and how I can create something that truly inspires community and a certain health and wellness in our spirit. Because I think, you know, just right now, for me personally, it's getting personal, but like, you know, I think we're struggling as human beings with our spirit, and technology is having an impact on that, where we're not having the experiences that we need to. And so I think that if I'm going to be involved in technology, or any way that I'm involved in technology, it has to be about enhancing the spirit. It has to be about enhancing our experience as humans. So that's a key component to me why I haven't jumped on it yet, but I will.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thanks for sharing that. I think it's not, you know, it's really not about money in the end. It is about freedom, though, and about ownership of what you do. So, to me, when I look at the way the internet came about, so there's someone who phrased this as read the 3 steps of the web: read, write, own. The first phase, late 90s. You could hop on the web, you could read whatever, it's Wikipedia, and that was like a great advancement. The next step, the Web 2, was the write phase, where you have these platforms that are set up where you can go on there, you can blog, you can post your photos, you can post your tweets, but you don't really own anything, right? If Twitter pulls the plug, you're done. Instagram pulls the plug, you're done. And they're basically mining us for data and information, and they're making money off our backs, right? So that's the right phase, and they provide a good service. We talk to our families, and it's great, but it's not really a fair trade. this next phase is a battle going on right now, which is this own phase where people have the potential to own their own stuff. And it won't be a just go there and own it. It's going to be a dogfight because that's where it's going. And the big entities are going to want to come in and control that again. And so that's why once I started to see that, I decided to do something about it in my own like small way because, you know, one person in terms of educating best possible because it's going to be a dogfight. And if we do nothing about it as individuals, it'll be the same thing again where Facebook has some platform and then we'd have to go in and like put our NFTs on there and it'll be the same thing again. So that's why I think it's super important to, and nothing said here, at least from me for sure, is financial advice ever, because I'm not a financial advisor. But I am someone who I think I'm an educator in this space, and if someone wants to toy with the technology to learn a little bit more about what's going on, I think it's potentially a very liberating thing once you understand it enough to build on it or to share with your friends and family.
Follow that.
Exactly.
Word.
Man. Word. I love what both of y'all said. I mean, these, you know, mental health, our health, well-being is so important. And then also like the financial, like this, the now finding the space that we can find that we'll create for ourselves to actually now take ownership of what we create or what we build on with other people and building community, which is like something that's so important. We as humans thrive off community. We show up to events, we show up to digital spaces when we needed that community, when we were at home alone, you know, and during the height of pandemic. But like, you know, creating these things, it's really cool. And Web3, which is, you know, basically, you know, right upon us. It's been in front of us. We're now learning how to like take ownership inside that space, which is really cool. I'm very curious because like I haven't personally published my collection yet. I'm personally trying to think about like I'm an artist. I've done a lot of art. I've done a lot of shows. I've traveled. I just don't want it. It's just not about money. Truly, I want money to have freedom to enjoy life, but I want to create something that brings me joy. I can go to my job 9 to 5 and hate myself, and that pulls the energy out of me that I come home, I can't even give it to my friends. I can't show up for my family. I can't show up for community. And those are the things that really inspire me to like really make a change and feel like I'm making a change in this world. That like the collection that I want to drop. I mean, it's, you know, I could drop 1,000 collections of different ways and different things. I don't know. I'm like trying to think, do I talk about the collection? Do I not share the collection?
No, you guys, I definitely want you guys to share. You know what? Something's funny.
Y'all want to hear about it? Y'all want to hear about it?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll give you I'll give you a little sneak peek.
more.
So it's called Kings and Queens. So basically, I'm Afro-Latino, so I'm gonna do Afro Queens and Kings and Latino Kings and Queens. And basically what I'm gonna do is that you're taking what we learned from the past and what we're in the present and how do we go to the future. And like all those things interchange. Like, you know, we wear things from our past that inspire us because maybe there's an ancestor from a certain part of our lives that really inspired us. Now we're gonna have that piece of jewelry or that piece of texture, that color, that fabric, and everything has a meaning. You know, color, everything. You know, this all inspires us in different ways. This is why we choose to wear these certain contents. Like, you know, you can tell what's trending, or you can tell when someone's just like, I don't want to like be too out there. When you're just like, okay, in Texas, I'm just gonna wear beige and tan. Or I'm gonna wear black and white, or you know, it's the simple things, but those colors mean something. Sometimes you just kind of want to be very straight to the point, but yeah. So yeah, that's coming. That's just a piece, but I want to have tactile things when you do collect the pieces, you collect the world, that you can be more involved and moving forward. So like, you know, like Chaka said, like. If we as an artist create something and we sell it, sometimes we don't get to see when it gets resold, we don't get no like value from that. We're kind of left out of the equation. Now this is gonna be really cool to like share our work, sell it, and then keep making like some kind of residual income to like now build the other worlds that we want to build. So like that's just one piece of the world. That's just one TV show basically in the world. Like, and then if we, like, if me and Chaka were to collaborate, like if I was to do an illustration and he was to put his patterns and his clothing line on there, like imagine that. Now his stuff is getting seen in a different direction that like he wasn't putting his stuff in. And if I was to do the same, his is going in a different direction than I would have ever been able to. And this is really cool because now we can let the world kind of like help push us as creators outside of our own comfort zone that we don't like really have the time and space for if we're trying to create something. That time in creating things, it's a lot of energy. So like we need to also be kind to ourselves and like, all right, we put it out here, how do we promote it and be consistent to like share that?
Absolutely. So I mean, it's you know, my mind's racing, but read, write, own. So the own element, which is where we are, is beautiful because I'm going to think about community. And you know, the owning of it, you know, I'll say back, remember when we were growing up, you'd always hear about the artist that you loved that went broke. Like Tony Braxton, like how did that happen? TLC. And I think they didn't have ownership, right? That's the thing. So you're telling us that we're now in a position to kind of be done with those stories, right? It still sounds to me like community is needed. So how does this enable you to own your community?
Own the community, how do you,
I mean, like I think about, you've got a fan base, Grateful Dead. The Grateful Dead owns their community. We're showing up here, people show up. And they don't need a label, really, kind of, if you got a crowd like that. So the ownership element, is the NFT the thing that allows you to say, I'm dropping something, my people know me. I don't need a gallery to put it together, they'll find me. Now, I would love for you guys just to explore that. What does it allow you to own outside of your data?
So I'll take a crack at it and then I'll let the actual artist give an opinion. But I feel like this technology allows people to have a more direct connection with their fans and collectors. So as it stands now, if someone is classically, as a musician, there are a lot of entities between you making the music and that person who's gonna listen to it. And those people have their hand in the pot. And so all of a sudden now you have to generate 1 billion streams on Spotify to make a living if you make some song or some music. Or I'm making the numbers up, I don't really know, but it's some huge number because you make pennies per stream. If there was a way to connect directly with your fans who actually care about you, who may be willing to support you as an artist with more than a stream on Spotify, perhaps they would want to come spend time with you in your city, or they want to buy memorabilia, whatever it is. All of a sudden, the number of people you need as an artist to support you shrinks down dramatically, so you don't need Spotify anymore. If you have 100 fans who really care about you and they support you as such, then you can focus on making music you want to make or art you want to make without having to feel like you have to sell out. So that's the power of the stuff. But I think it doesn't really take away the work of, there was a big hype with NFTs, like that's kind of still there, but was like really like intense, like August, September. That's kind of dying down. I think you still gotta make like good work, right? So you still gotta find the work to find the people and do good work doesn't go away. This just like kind of once you get that done, this juices it up for you, potentially. But I think you still gotta build your community and do a lot of hard work to do that. The projects that are like in the space now, not music necessarily, but like more art, like the artists in the space now, like they have to, I see them on Twitter, they have to do a lot of work to cultivate that community. That doesn't go away. It just means now that community can be global. They can be anywhere on the planet, and they can easily buy your work. You don't have to worry about if it's fake. They pay in some crypto, and then you can get, like you were saying, those residuals are very important for like a creative. And I talk to a lot of creatives as well, with part of GMI, and so that's important because then all of a sudden you're not tied to like having to do like a bunch of stuff you may not want to do. Maybe you have stuff you actually want to do, or make an experiment in some way. But you're like, is it gonna sell or not? But now you're more free to do that stuff, and that's kind of cool. Is that kind of close to?
I think that's great. I mean, that's exactly. I mean, I think I like that you bring up a point about like Spotify or your streaming systems, like in terms of like residuals. I think about like musicians. I'm not a musician, but like I respect the craft and the hard work that goes into it, and then also having to promote yourself, perform, and do all these things just to get people to hear your voice and what you're feeling, what you're saying. You're making content that you want to share with the world, but you're also making content sometimes that have to kind of grab in those people that don't understand you yet with like a certain catch, sometimes. But was it Kanye with the stem player? He took his music off of Apple Music and basically all the streaming services, except he didn't announce Tidal, so I don't know if it's not there or is there. But the cool thing about that, which I think is a really brave move, and also showing that we're all pushing in the right direction of taking ownership in our work, and that we can actually make an income and be, and be a part of something bigger and part of a big community. I mean, of course, he has millions of fans, and it's a different level. But like, I think the approach right there is that, I forgot how many stem players that he sold that made him the amount of money that it would take him to play just one song 15,000 times or more, or 15 million times. It takes that amount of money in the pennies that you get, like, versus like taking ownership of your own, how you want to be displayed, how you want to be played, and allowing the stem player, which is really cool, is that you could get to control the music and the experience that you have with it if you love it. So it's the same thing with like an NFT. Like, if as an artist, I want to create things that I can give to the world to like be a part of something and more, but in the collaboration aspect too. But if I give you something that has more of like a tangible thing that like you can add to, and it could be your own thing, then that's really cool. That's building community. Now people are being a part of this and sharing and like building in this world and feeling like they found themselves in some kind of new tribe in some way. So, yeah.
I feel like community is a word that's abused, and it's like people have different definitions of it, just like equity or diversity. But for me, like, I guess I come from the time when the television went off. You know what I'm saying? Like community is technology, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like the Black Panthers, or like, those are like my elders to an extent, and civil rights leaders. It's like your community is your numbers, and your community is the people that actually are there. And so like we make a living off of our music, but more so off of our community and people that believe in who we are as human beings. And so like with NFTs, what I want to do is connect those things. I think that there's the potential there for like really great things, and I see what happened with Ukraine, right, where they raised, I don't know, $1 million in like 24 hours through crypto or whatever. Like, I see just like a lot of potential for us to actually have a lot of social impact. And that's, again, like for me, like community is not something that I see it differently than I feel like the way other people use it. We have an NFT community or whatever. There's a disconnect there from, I think, the actual connection sometimes. So I think when I talk about community, it's a little different, even though it's similar. But to me, like, community is technology. Before we had anything of cell phone or anything, we had community, and it served a purpose. And that's like kind of my foundation with it. So I'm working to connect that with that crypto world, and so that we can like, really have something powerful and change our way.
Absolutely.
Or shift our way. I don't know about change, but just shift it.
Shift. Yeah, I think this question is gonna, I'm kind of thinking about the artist here, but they say there's a relationship between the artist and the canvas. right? And you guys both said something in our prep, right, about the patient play. There's a lot of pictures of cats and monkeys, and I look at NFTs now. I'm like, that's what they're making. You have this powerful tool, and it's a cat. So I'm assuming that the tribe, or rather, when I say community, I say tribe in the positive sense. Very Seth Godin tribe. They're expecting something from you all. They hold you all to a standard. And so when you think about something, the kings and queens, I'd love to talk about where you see yourself being inspired to actually leverage this technology in a way that benefits your tribe. To give us an idea of that.
I was gonna say, in regards to that of a tribe and taking the space that I'm adding to this world, because I'm adding to it. I'm not trying to take anything away from it because it's given me who I am. But I also look at it like, how could we take that digital space, now extract that, and now do something in the physical community, have physical reaction kind of going on. If it's even building land or buying land or building spaces for people to now go and create these extra little things that they want to do that can now be brought into the digital world, then it can also be sold in physical world. Because it, yeah. Sorry. Distractions.
From the
yeah.
digital to the physical world, or the physical world back into the digital.
Yeah. I mean, even if you think about it, like when you look at our favorite cartoons, the things that they were wearing, we got inspired by to build on us. That's what inspired some of our clothing, our choices, our habits that we wanted. Not habits. That's a weirdly word to put inside that conversation. So let's take that out. But doing building that kind of world and being inspired from that and being a part of it is really cool. Because if you look at the Disneys, I say Disneys because Disney pretty much tries to own everything in their own way. It's the world building. We show up to the movies, we read the comic books, we watch the cartoons, we're part of that world. We get in, and that's what I want to build. That's what I want to be a part of. I want to be a part of a world that can help be something more than what it is, and let people take it on their own and do stuff and be inspired to do their own thing and make no more copycats. I hate the apes. Sorry, I don't hate apes. I just dislike to hate apes. Let's move on.
Is Kings and Queens, is that a physical project or digital or both?
It's both. Yeah, it'll be both. I'm just gonna start in the digital space first, in this route, because I've done the physical space and gone that route, and just like everything else, it's a lot of work. But even in the digital space, it's a lot of work. You gotta be in Discords, or you gotta have Twitters, or you gotta have Facebook, you gotta have Instagram, you have to have moderators, and it's just so much work that it almost becomes a full-time. That's a job, and then basically you're building a tribe, but everyone has to be on the same page. You can't just have people you can't put people on your team to that's gonna distract you from where you want to go. You want to surround yourself with things that are going to inspire you to keep on this mission and feel empowered yourself when you hit the lows, but then also empower others to push through things for themselves, because we're all humans. We're all gonna have things that happen in our lives, but this digital space is allowing us to go further. Just it's tough, but it's awesome too. So
yeah. To me, so money is energy, you know what I'm saying? And, it's currency, it's supposed to flow. And I think, the reason that we're seeing a lot of the gap is because it's not flowing. People are hoarding it, you know what I'm saying? And I think with technology and everything, it's that same thing. You have a bubble of people that are making a tremendous amount of money. And then you have the rest of us. And so what I'm interested in doing is seeing how that flow can open up, and how we can use that technology to open up. I started something called Dawa, which is in Swahili, Dawa means medicine. And so I started in 2019 off of the basic premise that a lot of our people, our creatives, our artists, are people that are having a tremendous social impact in our community, are the least valued, monetarily, financially. And so they struggle greatly with the finances and also mental health. It's not because that what they're doing is not a great service. It's just because of the way our society values their work. And, you know, we value the people that create, you know, the gadgets and the widgets and everything more than we value the people that actually take care of us. So, like, again, what I'm interested in is shifting that through this technology. And I'm not sure exactly how, but that's what I want to explore, because there has to be more sharing involved in this. The wealth generation is important, but we have to just open up the faucet and the flow. And there's no reason that we step out of here and we see people that are unhoused when there's so much wealth in this city. It's really sad to me, and it's shameful. Like we're making these decisions as people, as humans, how we decide who's worthy of money. If you have it, my opinion is that you should share it, because that's what it's for. We're supposed to all be healthy. We're supposed to all be good. And you know, so that's touching off of what he said. Like, that's why the community aspect is important to me, and having people step into a space with that mentality of sharing and of making things more accessible for a larger amount of people.
Thank you. You know, you just said it. Have people step in that space. And so, you know, we went, you know, read, write, own. You're going to own your data again. We jumped into community. And when you said space, it brought something home, which is, it sounds like you can create a space, right? And in fact, actually, the other day I was sitting in my garage, I was really irritated, and somebody, a friend of mine, sends me a link and says, go to this place in your Oculus. And I throw on my Oculus, and I walk into this beautiful art gallery with just walls of just dope art. And I'm like,
how does that work? Like, how do you go to a place in your Oculus? I've never had an Oculus on. How do you do that?
You just put it on, and then.
And then what do you say? Like, go to that place. What do you do?
You go in and you go online to your browser, and then you go, and then all of a sudden, the way this room looks, it's just your Oculus.
It's just in front of you.
You can feel the weight on your head, of course, but yeah. And I'm jumping around, and there's a big old gorilla, and there's pictures all across, and I was like, this is calming. Like, thank you for bringing me to this space. I'm just gonna chill here for a bit and ignore my kids. But
needed that.
I needed that.
Yeah.
It was cool. I didn't think that you could, like, in my mind, I'd be like, well, how are you gonna show me all this stuff you're collecting? I was like, oh, I get it. Now
so it was all your stuff.
Yeah, I have some digital art that I show in a gallery. Yeah, just a quick word about, like, we talked about, like, the kind of cartoons and the apes and all that, and the NFTs have this. It's not one thing anymore, and so it's come to a point now where you have the stuff that you see that, like, that's more forward, like the cartoonish things, like those are becoming brands, like, before our eyes, and that's the way for people like them enough that big entities have it as the way to get in. So they're becoming brands, like, as we speak, like, they're becoming companies. What most of us will do is not going to be that. It's going to be people making their art and trying to get it to their fans. So I would encourage everyone to not assume, like, the whole thing. If the apes are kind of garish, I get it. Like, it's kind of like, so to not throw the whole thing out and say, oh, this is all BS because of these, like, silly looking things. Because they may appear silly, but they may not be in the future. But even if they are silly, there's a lot of good stuff with the technology that I think can empower a lot of folks. And that's why it's worth exploring, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, and so thinking about that, making spaces.
Yes.
How can minority communities leverage this, right? So, we think often about people in our community who are struggling, whether it be training. Jump in here and go learn how to work the machine. Jump in here and learn how to paint with me, or jump in here and experience what it's like to work with Chaka designing something. How is this related to the NFT thing and the ownership? I own the music. I brought them to the following, to the tribe. I took them to the space. Like, this kind of slides into the where is this thing going?
Yeah.
But is it a space owning thing where, Sunday join me for blah, 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 and 1,000 people jump in, and all of a sudden.
It's beautiful. I think it's, I'm very optimistic about where it's going. I think, but it's going to be, again, like, it's going to be a dogfight. If you don't build your own stuff, Mark Zuckerberg will build it. and then you have to pay him for it, and with your data and everything else. So I think it's about curating your own experiences. So all of a sudden, you can now say, okay, these are the pieces I want in this space that my fans can come in. You can have Chris's pieces in there, and you build it for your fans as you see fit, for free. And that's the beauty, and you can train people in it. I think the virtual thing, yeah, you don't have to go buy an Oculus. It's nice, it's a cool toy. It may become essential, but just like the phone became essential, the smartphones, in the beginning it was kind of like, do I need this? And then we all need it now. So you can do stuff on mobile, but to me the big take home is to just try to explore the technology the best possible. And I think the curation is the big deal, where you can, once you have a foot in the space, you can now create the experience that you want for yourself, like you did in your garage. You took a break and that was like a positive thing for you, right? Yeah. And you probably were happier that day, and that was better for your family and you and that kind of thing. And so that's part of the beauty of it for me.
I mean, I think it's all up to the individual, because, I mean, y'all might have never heard of Riders Against the Storm in your life, but, I make a living off of this. Like, I'm independent. I own everything that I do, and that's success to me. So I think the artist has to determine, like, are they going to jump on the Mark Zuckerberg thing because it makes them money faster, or are they going to build their own thing on their own? Me and my wife chose to take the path that we took. We didn't sign any like major deals or anything. We had some things on the table, but it's like, what road do you want to take? I think as time progresses, you just have more and more opportunity to really own your stuff. You may not be known like Kanye West. If that's what you want, then you might still have to go through that farm system, that plantation that he's complaining about now, but he made a clear decision, if you watch the documentaries, to go through that plantation. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, he had to go through those steps, and now he can come out on the other end. Prince had to do the same thing. A lot of people, but as artists now, we really don't have to take that path. We really do not. And again, unless you want the Taylor Swift or the Kanye or the whatever, then you're going to have to follow that road. But I think even through time, that will change as well. So I think it's really up to the artist to determine what their goal is and what ownership means for them, and to work from there.
I agree, 1,000%. What I would like to say to that also is that, like, which is really cool and really, really exciting, is that, like, now we're learning how to take ownership of our space and curate space, and also fans are looking for that the most. Like, I'm looking for more things that are locally curated, that's like upscaling, not just hobbyists, but like they're taking their craft and they're really putting love into it, and they're really passionate about it, that they're creating space for me to go to. So like, it's not, let me just create a space and everyone come to my house. Like, my house is the biggest house. Then that becomes a rat race again that we already went through, where like, oh, well, I have the coolest things at my house, so you come to my house for that. It's like, no, now everyone can create the really cool things, and then we can really find new ways to like modify it as we go, which is gonna be cool, because like, if you have a house, which I feel like that's another thing that I'm wondering how that space is gonna work, and that's like an opportunity, is how do you house your work? Like, how do you build that world for your work? How do you make your game? How do you make your work playable? Like, how do you make it interactive to where people can have like different fun with it, or interact with it, or experience it in new ways, or they can hear it, or what about smell or taste it? Like, we can't forget about those two. Like, I think that's like, those are things that we're gonna have to like, the opportunities are going to open the doors to new things for us. And I think if you're a creator, or if you're an experienced lover, or if you're even like, which is very, very important, don't anyone forget, is that we need investors, no matter what. Whoever you are, wherever you are, someone needs an investor to invest in them a little bit to open the door. I guess that was my call. My investor showed up. All right, I brought back.
There it is. Thank you. $1 million.
I love it. This is really moving in.
You did it, man. You made it.
No, we did it.
So I feel like, it's not lost on me. There's so much value there, right? Like, we got to get explored. And I kind of, to the artist, right? Why not just go and shotgun? Kitty cats. I mean, hey, who knows? It might get picked up. And then I could fund a bunch of other things. Like, I do get, for those of us on this side, the next question is about, like, is this really going to be a 1% versus 99%? Because I don't have money to throw away on bets on what you think might work. But as an artist, the fail faster thing, right? We look at a lot of our counterparts who made it in tech. They didn't care if they lost. It's only daddy's money, right? But then it blew up, and so
that part.
So yeah. But as artists, it's like, would you suggest to some of our audience members, just go out and start minting and throw spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks? Or, what is the criteria used to say, hey, just go out there and learn it, and you'll learn faster, versus no, hold back, do the patient play? I just feel like that's a question that I should have.
That's a very great question, actually. Very, very great question. Because the patient play is great if you have an end goal that you're okay with being patient with. It's the same thing if you have, it's like, okay, I have funny money. I want to just kind of throw this in there. If I make a little bit of something and I can like make a little return and then put it back in there, that's just the money that that you're taking from your savings or whatever you're earning or whatever that you want to add to. I think same thing with art. Like, find a way to like jump in it and just create, And when you'll find your voice, you'll find your way. I mean, the kitty cat stuff and the apes, and I get it. It's the same thing in real world. Like, everyone starts dressing exactly the same, and then people associate you that, oh, you're cool because I saw it on TV. But if you just dressed up like that first, they're gonna be like, oh, you're weird. You're like, I don't understand that. I need time to, but if you kind of show up and you're doing your thing, and it's like Chaka and myself, like we're not just doing. I'm not speaking for Chaka completely, but I see what he's doing in the community, and I also see what he wants to do and how the legacy of his work is going to surpass like where we are right now and what we're doing. And it's the same thing with myself. I do stuff in community because like I want to inspire the community to be better. I want to like I want to be part of that creation wherever I can to like curate, enhance community. I want to add value to community. I want to add value to whoever I'm around with, so that way they can open the doors and go forward. And then now there's like a bunch of us now going through this door at the same time versus like you going by yourself. So I think that's like, you can go either way. I mean, you could take the blue pill or you could take the red pill. You can take oxygen or you can take Wi-Fi.
I can't tell any artist like what to do, you know what I'm saying? But like I know that, a lot of people, in the record industry, okay, Travis Scott is hot. I'm gonna do the Travis Scott template. There's already a Travis Scott. You're already behind. You know what I'm saying? And then you get shelved. And then, nobody hears from you again. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like just create, before you go into minting, because it costs money. There's a fee involved in it, and there's it's not like you just put it up for free. It's not like just uploading your art to Instagram. It's not the same thing. So, if you have some funds to invest and you feel like you're doing something interesting, then I would do it. But like first, see if people are interested on Instagram first, or wherever you share your stuff. See if people are really looking at it and what they're saying, what's their response. Get some feedback. That's why you kind of start in a community. But I mean that's, you do markets, you do pop-ups, you do little gallery shows, you put your stuff up here. You get feedback. People start buying a certain thing, you start making more of that. It's not because you just want to do that. It's because you're seeing what people are pulling out of what you're doing, and then you say, okay, I'm gonna do more of that. Oh, they like this little design with this little design with this little thing. Okay, I'm gonna put them together. But you have to do that in the real world. I feel like I wouldn't just try to jump out and be like, oh, they're doing cats, I'm gonna do dogs. You know what I'm saying? Because if you just look on the outside, it may not seem like it's there, but once you start looking, there's a million of the same thing. Like, I mean, literally, like just little changes it's ghosts instead of bunnies, and it's this instead of that. It's like so many of the same things. So you're probably not gonna have the success that you think you're gonna have because you think you got an idea. And then in the back end, what you don't see is that a lot of these people already have their little things set up before they launch. So people are already ready to buy those things. You may think that, oh, they just did a little, no, like that's a whole plan, that's a whole business plan that they had set up behind that project so that when it comes out, it's already successful to an extent. It already has this upward motion going on. Yeah. It's not just some random person just like, oh, I'm good on Procreate. Let me just do a little thing. Let me do 10 of these. Let me put them up. It's not that, so don't be, it's like this isn't a get rich quick scheme. No matter what, that's not how this works. And the things that work like that, usually, there's a real high cost to it. You're in the drug game or whatever, you're doing something that's quick, you know what I mean? There's some danger involved in that, or there's some serious high risk involved in that. So this plays out the same way. The laws are universal.
What I was gonna say to that is, oh man, I already forgot. Sorry. The get rich scheme of getting rich really quick, it sucks. But also, I've done that where I explored, like I made stencils for a while, and then I chose, okay, let's see if this works. Let's test this out. And then you go and you do like an illustration. But it's also like market research. Just research. And also, if you don't know what you're doing, just ask questions. Just Google or use the web. Just
talk to somebody.
Yeah, talk to somebody. Ask a question. And I feel like right now, which is a great space that we're in right now, is that no question is a dumb question. Just ask the question. Someone's gonna answer you. Someone might look at you and be like, you're too far behind me. Someone's gonna be like, you know what? I got the right answer for you. And then that person's you guys might collab and like open another door that you never knew. And create that space and find out that maybe it should have not been a pig Teletubby or whatever it may be. Something that's super simple. But hey, at least you tried. So
yeah, it's always for me. It's always education first. So and this is not financial advice again, but if someone is a serious artist or collector, before committing energy or funds into doing any of this, I would try to find someone who is roughly in a similar boat, maybe more advanced in terms of being in NFTs. And that's the place to do that is really Twitter. And it's hard to get on there and find someone like randomly who is there, but that's why the resource here, I mean, I'm on Twitter a lot and I talk to a lot of artists all the time. And so if anyone has someone they want to talk to, someone who is a photographer doing this, I can point you in the right direction if you need that. But talking to someone who's actually done it, who's a real person, if you're doing physical to digital or putting your physical to NFTs or music, I think that's, you're limiting a lot of wasted time and energy. If you talk to someone who has done something, you may not follow the exact roadmap, but at least you know what to avoid, the landmines in the beginning. And that to me is a great way to start.
I got so many more questions. However, time is not on my side. Now that said, when Michael and I first started working on ReThink Austin, it was all about rethinking the trajectory of this city, but also creating a stage to give credit and support our people. So I'd love to close out by giving you guys a chance to talk to the audience about what you're doing, talk to your tribe out there so that they could follow you. I would love to follow. I'd like to be a supporter. And we here at ReThink Austin are really appreciative of your time and your insights in more ways than you know. But I'd like to close out with you guys going ahead and just telling us how to follow you, to learn more, keep in touch, and keep the conversation going on this.
Go ahead. Yeah, so I definitely have to plug Dawa first. Like I said, I started in 2019. Since 2020, we've given out over $153,000 to our community through $200 Visa gift cards for people that are in a financial crisis. Those are people of color that are teachers, artists, social workers, therapists, healthcare providers. So I would love for you to check out Dawa Heals at DAWAHEALS. We're throwing a South by Southwest official party on Tuesday at Stubbs. We got a great lineup. It's an all black female lineup. Tamika Jones and Maylot and Magna Carta and We Don't Ride Llamas and Chiquita B are going to be performing. We're going to have a bunch of vendors out there, Black Women Live Painting. So please come out on Tuesday. It's a free event. We'd love to see you out there. I also have a clothing line. It's called Nefer Fresher, NEFR-FRESHR. The line just got selected to be a part of a Macy's incubator program, and we were one of 25 brands chosen out of 600 brands to be a part of that. And so, hopefully in the next 12 to 18 months, the line will be in Macy's for retail. But you can support me now. Go to Never Fresher, fresh2life.com, FRESH2life.com. We got a special collection that dropped in December. This is a tribute to Nipsey Hussle, so check that out. Also have music. Riders Against the Storm is the name of the group, and you can find that at RAS Hip Hop, HIPHOP. And that's enough right now, right?
Thank you very much, Chaka. We appreciate you. Chuma.
How can I follow that, man? That's awesome. Love it.
He's a creative.
I love it.
Yeah, straight up.
So for me, my platform is GMI Advisory Services. So gmiadvisory.io, and what we offer is a platform to educate and inform anyone who cares about NFT tech, creatives and others. So we do speakerships and one-on-one sessions for now at no charge. So if you're interested, gmiadvisory.io, and just shoot us an email.
You're just gonna leave the MD part out? Just gonna leave that? It's too
I
gangster.
also do plastic surgery.
On the side, you know what I'm saying?
When he's not busy.
In Mexico, just on the low, just hit him after black market, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's amazing. Awesome. So yeah, my name, to contact me, Tobar Takeover is my Instagram account. Actually, I wanted to say, and Michael, I was a part of this from like the beginning. Like this is kind of really amazing to watch like this grow. This is really amazing. I don't want to like shout myself out, but I designed their logo.
Hey, shout yourself out.
We're gonna make an NFT of that too, right there.
Oh yeah.
You gotta miss that.
Yeah, please make an NFT and put me in a contract, just a little, little something.
Like from the beginning.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the event. I was like,
No. I designed.
That's live.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because like for myself, I've worked behind the scenes on so many really cool events that I believe in. So like me and Waz actually met real quick in a coffee shop. I was actually doodling when I just first moved here to Austin 3 or 4 years ago. I was just doodling a Kanye West because I was like trying to do some like press illustrations. So I was like just trying to push it around, just trying to kind of like jump on that wagon of like, all right, like how can I get myself out there? I get it. That's not what I want to do, but that's what I want. That's what I'm gonna do. And yeah, we just connected, and he told me about what he was doing, and he was like, I'm the mayor, basically. This is Mayor Waz.
Mayor Waz. I like the sound of that, man. What's good?
And
2024, what we doing?
Unofficial.
No
But yeah, I thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for holding a stage and bringing us all here together. This is really amazing. I really appreciate you and Michael and the team for creating this space for us to be here.
Well, listen, it was our pleasure. I am really we're blessed to have this happening, 4th year, to have you guys up on the stage. I am looking forward to enjoying you guys' NFT experiences. My kids are going to be like, Daddy's in the garage doing that, mental health art walkthrough with the clothing store. Yeah. But I'm really looking forward to seeing that happen. In any way we can continue to support, we would love to. So with that, I'd love to give a hand to these gentlemen for the time that they've spent. Thank you. And with that, we're going to close this session on NFTs. Again, please feel free to reach out to any of the artists / advisors on the
Please,
panel.
I would love to hear from anybody here. Please reach out.
And again, you can also shoot your questions to us at ReThink Austin, AUTMHQ. We're definitely very involved with our community, so we'd love to hear questions and relay them so that we can continue to kind of get more education in the community about this opportunity to own. So thank you.